The Help Show is a podcast dedicated to connecting individuals to mental health resources in the community. The Help Show is more than a podcast. It is a movement focused on change. Our objectives are to change the perception and stigma associated with mental health, encourage those with mental health disease to get help, foster access to mental health resources, and remove barriers to mental health resources, including those encountered in underserved communities. We remain committed to supporting the mental health needs of the community during the COVID-19 pandemic. Though the world has changed dramatically in a short period of time, The Help Show is here to help and navigate through the changes and address your mental health needs. Seek help when needed. If distress impacts your daily life for several days or weeks, talk to a clergy member, counselor, or doctor, or contact SAMHSA Helpline at 1-800-985-5990. The crisis worker will work to ensure that you feel safe and help identify options and information about mental health services in your area. Your call is confidential and free. This podcast is sponsored by Good Co-working. Good Co-working is the first solar-powered co-working community in the world focused on cultivating profitable businesses that do right by the people plus the planet, all while keeping you safe in a beautiful plant-filled wellness center space. Get an address for your business, which comes with 2 daytime co-working days per month to get your meetings done, all for the quarterly cost of $150. Good Work have many membership options, from frequent flyer to office rental, so let Good Co-working help you find just the right space to help you balance your life and work. Located in Dallas, Texas, just south of Deep Ellum. Check out goodcoworking.co and tell them The Help Show sent you. July is Disability Pride Month, and now more than ever, it is crucial to reflect the diversity of human experience and honor everyone's differences. People with disabilities exist in all spaces of life, and sports is no exception. Legendary disabled athlete like 4-time Super Bowl champion Rocky Blair, a decorated Paralympian, Trisha Zorn, shows that sports can be an exclusive space where everyone can reach their full potential. However, systematic ableism and discriminatory attitudes in society and its sports can hinder, not help a disabled athlete mental health and self-worth. For this Disability Pride Month, the Help Show is focusing on disabled athletes, ableism, and the role that sports can play in their mental health. Today's special guest for part 1 is Maurice Mo Brissett. Mo has a bachelor's degree in exercise science and kinesiology. His deep understanding and knowledge of the human body enables him to build himself and his clients into whatever athlete they choose to be. Mo has been in the health and fitness industry for over 25 years and is a director of Mindset at the Adaptive Training Foundation, a Dallas-based nonprofit that leads disabled military veterans and civilians through a 9-week mental and physical training program called Redefine. Through the unique program, Mo helps these adaptive athletes overcome physical and emotional and mental pain, fear and self-doubt to go after their goals with a greater sense of self-awareness and self-confidence. One of Mo's mantras is the only thing that will limit your success is your mind. Your body will be ready for the challenge. You can find him at Adaptive Training Foundation, and if you want to know a little bit more about Mo, you can go to hunt-prosper.com and check him out. Did you know, according to the CDC, 1 in 4 of Americans have disabilities? Also, did you know, according to the 2019 U.S. Census Bureau, 6.9% of disabled Americans reported having a disability that impacted their mobility? Also, did you know, according to the 2018 neurological study, veterans who were previously exposed to IEDs and had a traumatic brain injury were at increased risk for negative cognitive and behavioral changes? Today, I am beyond honored and very grateful, thankful that Mo Brissett is here to share his knowledge with us. So I want to get this interview started. First question, when did you get involved in adaptive training?
I got involved with Adaptive Training Foundation in 2015. I was, at the time, a full-time triathlon coach, coaching people online for the sport of triathlon, and had met my now great friend David Vabor, the founder of ATF, on a radio show. And he actually had a guy come through the program who was an Army gunner and it was a funny story because he said, hey, he called me and said, all right, I've got this guy. He's an Army gunner. He got blown up with an IED. He's blind, he's deaf, and he's missing a hand. And he wants to do an Ironman. Can you help? And I was like, yes. Okay. So I hadn't seen this guy, so I show up not expecting what to see. And when I tell you that, you already create a mental picture of what this man might look like. Right. Well, he was not at all what I thought. He was 5'11", shredded, and just a specimen of a human. I was like, all right, let's go. Okay. So I started, his name's Carlos Colon, and I started working with him in getting ready for his first Ironman, and really just started volunteering with the foundation and was immersed in it. And once I walked into the building, it's like the energy that's in there is palpable when you see these individuals doing, seemingly impossible things. Right. And I just wanted to help. I wanted to be part of it. So I started to volunteer, and then about probably a little less than a year later was brought on as staff and was brought on as one of the training directors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a mindset coach, what are some techniques that adaptive individuals use to overcome limited beliefs?
A lot of what we teach them is self-talk. Okay. So, especially when you are, whether or not you're a military veteran or a civilian, when you've experienced an incident where it's a traumatic event, and notice I did not say suffered, right, a disability. Right. So there's a difference, and it's the language that we use. So, but whenever an individual comes in, it's about what they say to themselves. We like to be our own worst critics. Yeah. Well, we change that around and say, how about you be your best self-advocate? Instead of focusing on what you can't do and what doctors or experts said, hey, this will never happen. You'll never walk again. You'll never regain this. You'll never, and all the nevers and can'ts. Yeah. Let's focus on what you can do. Right. That's step one. Right. So let's focus on that, and then also understand that fear is part of the process. You're going to be afraid. You're going to have stress. You're going to have anxiety. It's not absent of those things, those emotions. It's in the midst of and how you respond to those emotions. Right. So it's, if, again, say I've got, like Carlos, the guy I just shared with you. Okay. If he said, well, I don't have really a left hand, okay, and I can't hear, really can't see, I don't know if I could do an Ironman. Why not? Let's focus on what you can do. Let's develop the skills, the mobility, the strength, the core strength, and the balance to get you to the other side of the pool for the swim part. And then let's work on these other elements of it as well. So it's about taking it one step at a time. Right. And looking at the big goal and then going, okay, what's step one? How do I get here? And then once I've accomplished that, how do I get here? Okay. And that's really what we do. And we use breath as the anchor. So a lot of what I teach is breath work, meditation, mindset. So helping people understand, especially the adaptive athletes, that first thing we do when we are approached or we're presented with something that's fearful, stressful, or uncertain, we breathe. Okay. We breathe through the diaphragm. We breathe in through the stomach. Okay. We take a long exhale, and we do that a few times. Okay. And when we do that, that changes the brain chemistry. It changes the frequency of the brain. Okay. It puts us into a calmer state of being. Okay. Then we can process what's possible. Okay. So it's a lot that goes into it, but it's quite a fun process. And once the individual understands that and they really start to lean into it, that's where they start to surpass what they thought they couldn't do.
I really like when you say, when they come in, it's all about what you say. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's kind of like instead of you saying, I can't, you can. So let's focus on what you can. Yeah. And then when you're saying with the breathing process, I think that goes all into one step. So you say what you can do. Mm-hmm. Let's take a breath on what you can do. Now let's push out what you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, yep. Hey, y'all gotta watch it. Okay. So with mobility being one of the biggest issues with disabilities, how do you assist your clients in becoming more active? For example, how would you help a client with mobility nerve pain and aches, and et cetera?
Yeah, so the way our foundation works is we run a 9-week course. Okay. And it's 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they come in, they work with me on mindset for 20 minutes. They go into, they do about 90 minutes of movement, okay, and then they come back with me for another 20 to 30 minutes of mindset. And with decreased mobility, it usually comes from really complacency because, again, a lot of times once they've experienced that injury, they're flooded with information from doctors of, hey, this is your new normal, this is your new life, you're not going to be able to do this, that thing, or the other. So they stop trying. You know, we had an athlete who came through our program, and by the way, when we say athlete, we're using the term from Bill Bowerman, the co-founder of Nike, of if you have a body and you're moving, you're an athlete. So a lot of the individuals that come through our program, they're not necessarily athletes, but we get them to try to experience and get into different things in sports if they choose to. But we had an individual that came through, he was an Army veteran, and he was paralyzed, and the doctors had told him, don't get out of your chair. Get out of your chair as little as possible, because if you do, you're likely to injure yourself, you're likely to get sores, all these things. So he hadn't been out of his chair in a couple years. Oh, wow. Day one, we had him out of his chair for 2 hours. And he was terrified. But we had to do that. We had to get him into that uncomfortable space to show him what was possible. Fast forward 7 weeks, and when we got him out of the chair, he could barely, he had no core strength or stability. So his mobility, his ability to get himself around was non-existent. And what we tell people is like, okay, cool. We understand that you may have a lack of being mobile because you're in a wheelchair. But what happens if you're at home and you're laying in bed and your house catches on fire and you're by yourself? What happens if there's an emergency, if you fall out of your chair? Can you get your body out from the floor to that chair? If the answer is no, we've got a big problem. We've got to fix that. So we make sure that they can do that. So fast forward 7 weeks, and this man is now, I know if you've ever seen the fitness balls, the Bosu ball, where it's flat on one side, then the other side looks like a fitness, like a ball. He's now sitting on top of that ball, balancing himself, doing battle ropes.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Wow. So that's where you can go. So, but it comes from here. It comes from the belief that you can do it, and then surrounding yourself with the right type of enablers. So you have to surround yourself with people who are like, hell no, you can do this, and let me show you why.
Absolutely.
Like this person did it, this person did it, this person did it. Why can't you?
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we teach is we would rather you try every day for the next 10 years and give it your best. And not try it all. Because at 10 years in one day, you can say, you know what, I gave it everything. And where I am, I know I tried. Versus going, the mobility, the lack of mobility is just that, it's the complacency and it's the stories that we tell ourselves. I can't do this. Why try?
Absolutely.
Why not? You know, one of the great stories that David, my great friend and founder, tells is one of his first civilians, her name's Vanessa Cantu, came through the program. She had been injured in a car accident when she was 13. This was 15 years later she came through his program, and she had a 2-year-old daughter at the time. So she hadn't tried to walk in 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And she was trying and failing, and her daughter Izzy was about 2 years old at the time, and she was learning to walk. And Vanessa was getting frustrated. She didn't want to do it, and David saw Izzy fall over and stand back up, and he looked at Vanessa and he goes, hey, if she can keep going, why can't you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The more you explain the program, it's like you guys are like, and ladies are physical therapists, occupational therapists. I know, but it almost sounds like that, because what happens is that you have a doctor that trains your mind to say what you can't do.
Right.
Where you need, and I'm not saying that the doctors are not correct.
Yeah, they're doing the best they can with what they know. Yeah.
But if you, like you said, if you put yourself around a lot of disablers, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to push to that second level, or even that half of a level, to be mobile. Right. And so that's what, like, physical therapists and occupational therapists, that's what they kind of do. So you guys are not, but you kind of are. So, you know, I'm gonna give my hat, you know, bow my hat off to you guys, because you're doing an amazing job with the story you just told me. Thank you. So you're the director of the Mindset at the Adaptive Training Foundation, which has a training program for disabled veterans and civilians called the Redefine program. So can you tell us a little bit more about that, and what do you do as a mindset coach? Yeah.
So the Redefine program is what I was talking about earlier. It's that 9-week cycle that we take them through, where we train them. Again, we do a lot of mindset work. We do mindset on, okay, what are the fears that you're experiencing inside the gym walls with elevating yourself to that next level.
Okay.
And then we help them understand that, step into those fears. And also if they have goals, we help them with those goals, obviously.
Okay.
And then after that, we help them, what's going on with you outside the walls of this gym?
Yeah.
And that's actually why we created the mindset side of the program, because we had an incident with one of our veterans almost taking his life, and we came together and said, we're doing a great job in the gym walls,
yeah,
but when you step out of those walls and life hits you in the face, what do you do? How do you respond?
Absolutely.
So a lot of what we teach them is, hey, let's empower you to have a program that you can do on your own at anywhere, at any time, and also let's equip you with the mindset to handle the stressors and the fears of life.
Absolutely.
How do you communicate with your spouse? How do you communicate with your family? How do you communicate again with yourself, most importantly? And then once we're done with that 9-week program, we take them on a really cool trip. So like this past group, we just went to Sun Valley, Idaho, and did adaptive mountain biking. We did archery. We did whitewater rafting, just to help them see their newfound abilities and show them, again, what is possible when you're around the right type of folks.
Oh, wow.
So they're equipped once they leave the program, because that's what a lot of people ask, is, well, what happens after the 9 weeks?
Absolutely.
Well, during the 9 weeks, we're getting them ready for after the 9 weeks.
Absolutely.
And if anyone is in the Dallas area, because we're located only in Carrollton, they can come to our gym Monday through Friday, 1 to 3.
Okay.
Forever.
Okay.
So that's what we do during the program and then after the program.
I like that. Are you guys open right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're in between classes. We do 1 class per quarter.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so that's like 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your worst experience in your life? And what did you learn from it, and how did it change you? Because what I'm hearing is that you give out so much, Mo. You're giving so much. So what has happened to you, or what has been your worst experience for you to say, you know what, I can help other people?
Yeah.
Okay, let's not stop here.
You know, it's a great question, and what I like to reframe it, because every experience that I've had, that's the worst experience. I've had many.
Oh no.
But they've all happened for me, because when you can get outside of yourself and you can look at that experience as a lesson, because literally it's like with our athletes, I tell them, and sometimes they're not ready to hear it, this didn't happen to you, this happened for you. And now what you were made to be here for is about to be shown to you because of this, not in spite of. So with me, I mean, if I had to narrow it down to one that helped me get to where I am, it was probably, I think it was 2004. It was here in Dallas, and I got jumped coming out of a bar with some friends. I was in my truck, and I was young, in my 20s, at a bar in Dallas, so we were drinking a lot, and I don't remember it. I don't remember it partly because we had been drinking a lot, and also because I was concussed. This left side of my face was shattered, so my nose is all reconstructed. Eye was crushed, everything. Had a fun little surgery. I've got your titanium plate and screws here still. And but because of that, some people that I was working with introduced me to a neurological chiropractor that helped me heal, that taught me about holistic nutrition, that talked to me about mindset, that taught me about training people through a neurological standpoint and neural pathways. That really helped me get into the mindset side of things as well. So, and it wasn't until literally, I think it was 2017, I was writing something for ATF, and I was reflecting back on something, and I was reflecting back on that incident. And I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? I was going to drive home. I don't remember it. I was in my truck. The valet guy gave me the keys, and I was in my vehicle. Now, I didn't live far away, but what would have happened if I would have driven home? I could have injured or killed someone. Yeah. I could have injured or killed myself, or both. So in that moment, I stopped writing. I sat up and I thought, thank you. Yeah. You know, thank you, 2 guys who jumped me in my truck.
You did me a favor.
Yeah, you did, because of that, that got me to doing that led me to doing what I'm doing today. So see, it didn't happen to me, it happened for me.
Absolutely.
And whatever, if you're listening to this, whatever happens is happening for you. There's a lesson if you allow it to happen. It doesn't mean it's pleasant. You know, like, growth doesn't come through comfort.
No, it doesn't.
Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional, mental, sometimes it's both and more. And when you can go through that and go, you know what, I don't know the answer, I don't know why this has happened to me now, but I know there's a reason. Let me dive into it. Let me just be immersed in this.
Absolutely.
And then it will happen.
Yeah, the best.
So,
what you learn are like the most successful athletes, they failed.
Oh, all the time.
Like LeBron James, he says it all the time.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest athletes ever. And his failures have made him so successful. And I think it's important to fail.
Yeah.
Those are your best lessons in life. And it doesn't, if my father would always say, if it doesn't break you, it'll build you. And I think it's so true. And it builds you to who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when I was racing triathlon, when I was doing Ironman, in order to win, you have to be willing to completely blow up and fail. And I read a great quote from Derek Jeter not too long ago that said, in order to hit the game-winning home run, you have to be willing to strike out at the same batter's box. So one of two things is going to happen. Choose which one and learn from both.
I like that. Choose two and choose from both. I like that. Okay. So what are some of your insights about teamwork in your life experience? So I'm going back to the bar, and you don't remember anything.
Yeah.
And your experience was you were with some friends, right?
Yeah.
So that means y'all was drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Are they still your friends? That's number one, okay?
Right.
Okay, y'all still friends. But going into teamwork, what are your insights of teamwork and life experience? Like, what do you get out of teamwork? How do you give to teamwork? How do you experience teamwork?
Yeah. So we are social creatures.
Okay.
We're not meant to do this alone. Yeah. We're meant to work in a unit. We're meant to work in a tribe. And that's why at ATF we call ourselves a tribe. Okay. We're not a family. We're not a team. Family you can't do anything about. Right?
Ooh, I know.
A team is just a roster of people. Okay. But a tribe is there to support each other in ups and downs. So what my weaknesses may be your strengths and vice versa. So we're there to help each other. So with the team aspect of it, it's important to surround myself by people that challenge me, people that are better than me. Yeah. And also people that are going to help me elevate to my next level.
Absolutely.
And I've got a lot of friends, but I've got a very small circle that's my tribe. And it doesn't mean that, because a lot of times also as we develop and we elevate to the next level of us, there are some people that we need to just not so much let go, but not do life with anymore as much. Yeah. I've got some great friends that I love them to death, but I'm not going to do life with them because we're not in the same space. It doesn't mean I don't love them, I don't respect them, I let them do their thing. Yeah. And that's very important, because what we don't want to do is become elitist and try to shun people like, well, you don't get this, you don't get me now. Yeah. So, we can't hang out. No, we can still be, but just not at that level. So the team is critical, because when you're alone, you fall to your victim to your own devices sometimes. Regardless of what type of work you do, what type of mental work you do, we have to have people to get vulnerable with and be real and raw with. And that's the key.
That's the hardest thing to do. That is so hard to be vulnerable.
It is, but that's the greatest show of bravery. When you can listen, if I can't be vulnerable with you, how can I trust you?
Ooh, say that again, please. Please, can you say that again, Mo?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if I can't be real and vulnerable with you, how can I trust you, and vice versa?
I can't.
And that's it. Like we need to get this and this in sync, and then everything else happens.
Is this a show or a church? Because I'm feeling all this right now. I almost said hallelujah. I'm serious, Mo. Oh my goodness. So with all that you have going on in your tribe, what does your daily routine look like? What do you do on it? What does Mo do on a regular routine day? Okay.
I'll tell you my morning routine. The day is random. It varies. But I wake up. I'll put on coffee. I'll meditate for 15 to 20 minutes based on what I'm feeling that day. I'll write my journal. I'll do a little bit of movement practice based on, I do a lot of training. So I'll do that, and then I'll usually roll up to ATF around 8 o'clock in the morning and either work out, or we start the day. And then during the day, depending on what I have going on, I'm either doing some sort of strength training, some sort of movement with a heavy rucksack, or running. I recently picked up jiu-jitsu again, so that's incorporated in everything. So I'm always trying my daily routine is, the fixed is the morning meditation, breath work, and movement.
Okay.
Coffee. And then the rest of it varies based on what I have going on.
Okay. I love the fact that you meditate. I meditate too. It's very okay. Question: do you meditate with sound or in silence? Because you know sometimes you can cut on like some type of frequency.
Yeah.
Meditation music, and then you can meditate that way, or you can do complete silence and listen to your surroundings,
right,
and tune in from that aspect of things. So what do you like to do?
I use Insight Timer as a meditation app because they have so many things you can choose from. A lot of it, I'll do a gratitude meditation most of the time, or there's a chakra cleansing one that just makes me feel good after I do that.
I'm gonna get that after this.
Yeah, it's so good. And then also sometimes I'll put on binaural beats. So you know I'll put myself into, especially if I've got to be on, if I need to write, if I need to read, if I need to do something, I'll put myself into a brainwave state that is elevated. So. But I'm very aware of my surroundings. Sometimes I'll close my eyes. There's also a really great meditation that was developed centuries ago by samurai, and it's called it's called the Warrior's Meditation, where it's an open eye meditation. Okay. So I might be standing here or sitting, and I'm staring at a fixed thing, but then I'm starting to be aware, to your point, of everything around me. So what can I see right, left, above, below without moving myself in my space? What can I hear? What can I sense? What can I smell? So now, once I do that process, and it takes about 10 minutes, I'm completely aware and present in this moment. I know everything that's going on around me. So it brings this element of awareness. It also helps to pull you out of things, because when you start to get that monkey mind, you can find, and this is what we do with our athletes as well. If someone having an issue from a traumatic event, PTS, you say, hey, point to 5 things in the room. Say what they are: purple wall, white light, Kleenex box, brown phone, orange cup. What can you feel? I can feel my shorts. I can feel my skin. I can feel this. You know, what can you hear? I can hear the lights. I can hear your voice. Then what can you? Then you take a big breath. Present.
That's powerful. Y'all better get it. that is powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. So how has adaptive training given you the opportunity to connect and strengthen your ties to the community?
Man, it's literally. It's changed everything since I've been part of this organization, which is phenomenal, because everything that I've learned and studied over the last 25 years all came into need and fruition once I started that program. And if that's not divine appointment, I don't know what is. So with what I'm able to do now out in the community outside of ATF is all because of my experiences with those individuals. You're seeing people walk again for the first time in years or months. You're helping veterans and civilians not eliminate, but better themselves from suicidal ideations, having conversations with people, accepting people who they are, where they are, what they are. It's literally changed who I am as a human and how I operate in society. So what I can do now in the community outside of ATF is all because of ATF and what I've experienced there. And it's because of the people.
I love it. I'm volunteering. I'm serious. Mo, I'm so serious. Like the things that I've seen the athletes do, civilians do, because I watch the YouTube and the videos that are on the internet, on their website, and I think it's amazing. Yeah, it's incredible. So I'm glad that adaptive training has changed your view and the way that you just kind of operate and view the world. And everything that you wish for has came to fruition. I think it's very important. So what are some of the things that disabled athletes can do to develop or maintain their self-care? Yeah,
number one is work on core. Okay. So if you are by yourself, if you're an adaptive athlete, I'm not going to say disabled. Okay. If you're an adaptive individual, start working on your core. What are your weaknesses? What are your weak points? Work on those things. Okay. Surround yourself with people that will push you and elevate you, not keep you where you are. And if you need resources, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. You can reach us, again, our website is adaptivetrainingfoundation.org. You can reach us there. Go on Facebook, go on Instagram, follow us. Follow our stories, follow the athletes and see what they're doing for motivation, because when you think you can't, there are people out there that are doing it. So you need it's a great source of motivation. And actually, what we're working on now, we're working on something, it's like a master class, but we're calling it adaptive class. Because you started this with saying 1 in 4 individuals have some sort of disability.
Yep.
It's over 10 million Americans that have some sort of disability. Amputation, spinal cord injury, neurological diseases like Parkinson's or stroke or Alzheimer's. And so the adaptive class, we can't reach everyone, but what we can do, what we're doing is working with some of our adaptive athletes with spinal cord injuries, with amputations, with the neurological diseases, and we're creating a program, 9 weeks that they can follow online at their home, at their own pace.
Oh, I like that.
And go through the program.
Right.
So there's a great option, because a lot of people say, hey, do you have this here? Do you have this here? We're like, no, we don't. Now we're working on a solution. So for that person, number one, find what you're weak at and start building it. Work on your core. Okay. This is the foundation. So work to build this.
Okay.
Work on your weaknesses and surround yourself with the right type of enablers, and start a meditation practice. Start a breath practice.
You guys ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're almost getting ready to wrap up, but I want to know who makes up your support network. Who makes up Mo's support network?
Names and people?
You know, if we can do it.
I mean, yeah, I've got my partner in crime, my beautiful girlfriend Kirsten. Like, she is the female version of me. She's my person. So her, number one.
Kirsten.
Number two, David, DV, the founder of ATF. He's one of my best friends. Like, I've never been more vulnerable, and he with me, with another human in my life. So I've got him. I've got my best friend Freddie Vaca, we've been together for, almost 12 years now. So I've got a good group of people. I've got a solid group of men that I surround myself with.
They sound amazing.
Yeah.
They sound really amazing. Absolutely. Wow. So for people who want to get into the parasports, what organizations should they reach out to? So besides you guys, because you only can help so many people, and I tell people that all the time. Look, I want everybody to go to adaptive training. Okay, everybody, please go to adaptivetraining.com, foundation.com. But you only have so much room for everyone. Right. So what other organizations would you say, hey, go check them out? They do just as great as we're doing as well.
Yeah. So specific to an injury, if you're a spinal cord injury, High Fives Foundation. They're one of our partners. They're located in Truckee in California.
Okay.
And they do a lot of stuff with athletes that are in wheelchairs.
Okay.
So any type of sport, from skiing to mountain biking, they work a lot with those individuals, and they're just incredible human beings. So High Fives is a big one that I would go to. There is the National Ability Center in Park City, Utah, that works with athletes as well. I'm not quite sure if they so much help them get into sport, but they know the people that can. So what I would tell you to do is look for nonprofits and organizations in your area that do that. If not, reach out to us. We're happy to help you find a resource.
Okay, yeah. I like that. That's what nonprofits do. We help each other.
Exactly.
Well, we are getting ready to end this podcast, but I want to say thank you. We call that the TTT. We're beyond grateful that you came by and shared your knowledge and shared what your organization does. And like I said before, I would love to volunteer and help you guys out. Real quick before I leave and close out and give my gratitudes, are there a lot of women? Because it seems like there's more men.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to make this like a female or a male thing,
Yeah.
But I'm just really curious. Is it like 50-50? What's the ratio?
Yeah, it depends on the class and depends on the applicants. And but we do have, I think we had 3 ladies in our last class of 10.
Okay.
So in this upcoming class, I believe we have 4 to 5. So yeah, it varies based on applications, but we do have a lot of ladies that come through our program as well.
I think that's important because especially, men are not the only people that
are, for sure.
We don't want to say disabled. What we want to say, what's the word you told me to say? We don't want to say. Come on now, I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. They're not disabled, they've just experienced an injury.
Yes, those that experience an injury. they want to be able to come into a class and feel comfortable, not
Absolutely.
be in a room full of it's 10 people and there's only one chick and she's hold on now, I want another female to talk to. So I thought that was very important.
Yes.
But I want to say thank you again for interviewing for the show, and I would love for you to come back next year.
Absolutely.
We would love to have you as a guest. So thank you again. And so our gratitude for this podcast, we want to give acknowledgments to Auckland Research Associates, NJI Holding, Good Co-working, Gifted Mind and Foundation, and Duke's Hair Studio. So I want to say thanks to all our partners, those that keep us up and going, and also thank our listening audience. And so, also before I forget to tell everybody, next month is our break, so we don't do podcasts in August, because I need a break, honey. So there won't be a podcast, but there'll be plenty of reruns for people to look at. We have 105 episodes, so there's plenty to pick from. So thank you guys so much, and thanks for listening to The Help Show. The Help Show wants to thank all of our partners: Auckland Research Associates, NJI Holding, Good Co-working, Gifted Mind Foundation, Duke's Hair Studios. We'd like to take a moment and thank everyone in our listening audience for listening today. We'd also like to remind everyone that we are a nonprofit organization operating entirely off the generous support of our donors. If you would like to give to our organization, we appreciate you. You can send your donation via Cash App, $, The Help Show, or on our website at www.thehelpshow.org. There's no donation too small. Every dollar given will strengthen our efforts. If you'd like to donate $1,500 or more and become a VIP sponsor, then we have some additional packages listed on our website. And you can visit us at www.thehelpshow.org for more details.